We put asses in seats.
I thought I was fly. I acted like I was fly and got what I wanted.
Once you get to the top of the mountain, create more mountain.
Are you done?
With what?
Cam Proctor with Big Gold Belt Media. Today with Reginald Hudlin as well as Shola Lynch, the directors of the amazing two-part documentary film #1 on the call sheet, coming exclusively to Apple TV Plus March 28th. How are y'all doing today?
Great, thank you.
Great. Listen, I had a really great time watching both parts of this documentary. I mean, I laughed, I cried, so many different emotions. And I think a lot of documentaries lack that. It's either, it's either a murder case or it's either something else, And I felt this was so refreshing and just a new perspective. So I just want to give you guys your flowers in the beginning, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. But I guess the #1 question is, right? I mean, what is being #1 in the call list on the call sheet to both of you? I'll start with you, Shola.
Ooh, okay. Well, in the context of the movie, it means to be the star and all that means. The leader, the HNIC, whatever you want to call it. Like, maybe we just call it #1 on the call sheet now instead, right?
Right.
And it's the journey. The film is really about the journey of getting there through 17 versions of it,
Right.
know? But for me, what I was surprised by is how much it translates and how inspiring it was. It was like listening to stories for peers or aunties or whatever. And I realized that I am #1 on my call sheet.
Right.
So how do I live in purpose and strive for excellence?
Right.
And have those high moments, low moments, but persevere through it. So that's the part that gives me tingles is how much it translated and how much there was there for me as an individual, and I hope for the audience.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Reginald?
Yeah, I mean, #1 on the call sheet, obviously it's a it's a validation of a lot of hard work and talent and perseverance, but it's also responsibility because, the story that you hear from Larry Fishburne, early on in the film where he talks about how, he's 14 years old in Thailand making Apocalypse Now,
Yeah.
and Martin Sheen is there for him when he is in extraordinary emotional distress. And that sense of, hey, this is my set, and everyone's looking to me and taking cues from me. So how do I, take the responsibility of being a role model?
Yeah. No. I completely agree because I think that was one of the stories actually early on watching documentary that really stuck out to me. Because Martin Sheen could have either sent him on a path of I'm never doing this again, or what inspired him to be what he is today, which I thought was crazy, but beautifully said as well. But let's talk about the mission, right? To get this film done. How I guess not difficult, but what was the time period or time frame? I know you both are, you're not shy as far as sticking to a mission and getting stuff done. Of course, Shola with you with Free Angela and the political prisoners, as well as Reginald trying to get, I guess you could say revolutionizing the comic book we see, Black Panther, right? That's all a process. What was the process like getting this actual film done? I'm pretty sure scheduling was crazy.
Scheduling was the worst. It's the catch-22. It's like, hey, the biggest movie stars in the industry want to participate in your movie.
Yeah.
So they'll get to you 2026, 2027. No. We need you before that.
Right.
Because they're the busiest guys. So it was patience and determination on our part to get them, and the fact that they were so supportive of the project. So it's like, okay, if they're down, we're down. We'll wait it out.
Yeah, for sure. I'll project this one straight to you, Shaula. So I noticed in here that you decided to do two different perspectives in each part of the documentary. We wanted to go from male perspective as well as female perspective. How how important was that for you to make sure that this, we are the same ethnicity, but we have two separate experiences shine through in this film?
Oh, I mean, it's huge because I'm the one that wouldn't be here. And, the women's story would be like a scene in the men's story.
Right.
And in the world, we all need allies. And the idea came from Datari, Jamie Foxx's producer, and Kevin Hart, and the guys were sitting around and Reggie. And the way I imagine it is they're all smoking cigars, going, "Yeah, we're so great. We did all this stuff. Oh, we should make a movie." And then it could have just been that. And but they have the presence of mind to be like, oh, this is only one side of the coin. We want to tell the women's story and we want to give them the space in the world to hear what they have to say. And so that's how I get tapped. And when you get those calls, you like jump at the opportunity no matter what's going on.
Yeah.
And literally, I created a stage, a safe space for the women to enter. It's dark all around, one beauty light, very like Annie Leibovitz at work. Thank you, Annie. And they enter, and they're entering into a safe space in the world of the film. And it worked. They started, I mean, it was also everybody behind the scenes, people of color, women. We include men, white guys too, but it was
Yeah.
everybody. And
Right.
they knew that we were following through on our mission and objective. And what they shared is incredible. And so the film becomes the ensemble, my favorite moments in an ensemble of these 17 women and their pearls of wisdom on that path to excellence.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I feel like it was you both have become therapists at this point, because people were just kind of unraveling. And I'm pretty sure you asked questions in there, but they were kind of just giving you, stuff. And I'm pretty sure, actually doing films, there's a script, there's something to follow by, but this was just completely organic, which I loved about it. And I think a lot of people are going to find, like you said, that connective tissue between this and the stars that we idolize right now, which I think is really great. Um,
Can I say
but
something about that?
yeah,
I,
sure.
I mean, I think both Reggie and I, because of who was all involved, the EPs, were given a certain measure of trust. Now,
Right,
Reggie has relationships with people and he can speak to that. I don't. So I come to it, it was that trust.
right.
So we had to make sure that they felt safe, to just have a conversation, and that it was a conversation that was about them and gave them a platform to share what they needed to share around the story. And several of the women, I mean, one of the moments that took me off guard, again, not in the film, there's so many, was a moment with Ruth Nega. And I asked her what the etymology of her name was. And she goes, nobody has asked me that ever. They've been too afraid.
Wow.
Mm.
Right? Like, and I
Wow.
was just right because they didn't want to like upset the apple cart or be right, like whatever, blah blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. So, but that moment is what you feel in the film, that often the interviews are promotional tours and it's not conversations.
Yeah.
And we had the pleasure, and I'll speak for myself. Reggie can speak for himself. I had the pleasure of being in conversation with these 17 women.
Yeah. That's
Mic drop is kind of how
right.
I
Yeah.
feel about it.
That's it. No, I can only imagine, honestly. Oh, how about you, Reggie? I mean, you obviously knew, I guess, a few of these celebrities as well, but
Yeah. I knew a lot of them, and I got to meet several more, and it was fun because these are all smart people, funny people, charming people, heartfelt people, really socially conscious people, and we got to show all those different sides of them, and we all left going, yeah, that was cool,
yeah,
and whatever else is going on in their life, they were able to let it go and just be really honest. And that's what struck me the most was the extraordinary honesty in all the conversations. I was like, oh, we're talking about that. Oh,
yeah,
okay. I'm glad we went there. Oh, is Republicans going to stop me? No, we're just doing it. Great. So it was a really an extraordinary experience.
yeah. Yeah, no, no, I completely agree. I mean, it didn't catch me off guard, but just watching it, it just pulls you in, like the whole entire thing, you know. I mean, part one and part two. So I'm excited as you guys are for people to see it at home for sure. So I got one last question, and I'm gonna direct this one towards you, Reggie. So
Hmm.
now that we see, DC Studios is turning over, right? I'm gonna throw this
Yeah.
out there. You know, one's coming. DC Studios is turning over, things are changing. And now we see the emergence of our first live action version of a Black John Stewart Green Lantern. How far are we out from seeing Static Shock on the silver screen?
I don't know.
Okay.
We're, there's conversations, but I don't know. It's again, I've been talking with DC through, I don't know, several regimes by now. So
Right.
like we'll talk with these folks, these folks. So I don't know. Everybody loves Static Shock.
Yeah.
Everyone sees like, oh, that's a no-brainer. And fans always want it. So we're just waiting for the studio to say, let's go make it.
That's all we need. That's all we need. Everybody at home, make sure you check out the two-part documentary film, number one on the call sheet, coming exclusively to Apple TV Plus, March 28th. Shola and Reginald, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys taking the time.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Cameron.
Cameron.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.